its place. I am Theokasi Divine Mimido, your host for the day. In today's fast-paced world, where stress has become a constant companion for many. But what if I tell you, dear viewer, that it doesn't have to be this way? Today, we'll be diving into the world of stress, exploring its causes and uncovering strategies for overcoming it. We have two incredible guests joining us today, Mary Oluwadamilola and Damilare Oguntoyibo. Mary, a wellness advocate, shares her insights on stress management and the importance of self-care. Damilare will also share an insight on building resilience and life coping skills for navigating through life challenges. Get ready to reclaim your peace of mind. Over to you, Ms. Mary.
Good day, everyone, and thank you so much for having me on the show. It's such a privilege to be here. My name is Enijion Mary Oluwadamilola, a 200 level mass communication student under the Faculty of Multidisciplinary Studies in the great institution of EKITI State University. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. I'm a wellness advocate. I always speak on prioritizing oneself. I'm big on it. I tell people, always pick yourself, choose yourself, and because at the end of the day, the person you're left with is only yourself. And there's this wellness quote that I live by religiously. It says, wellness is the integration of the body, spirit, and the mind. And it's the realization that everything that we do, think, believe, has an effect on our well-being. So I always tell people to be picky about the things you let into your life, be picky about the things you incorporate into your daily activities. Because the things that you eat, the things that you believe in, the things that make up your ideologies, you might not know it yet, because the one thing about this type of thing is that it does not hit you immediately. It's a slow build-up. So that's why you need to know best what's good for you. So you learn to pick and choose what should go inside. And aside being a wellness coach, on the side, I'm an aspiring voice talent.
Oh, really?
Yes, I am. I mean, my whole life, people have told me that I have a great tone to my voice, and they're like, oh, you should voice a cartoon character, and how much animated I am. And, growing up, I used to always watch Barbie. I met my best friend because I was always watching Barbie. Did you have a face like that too?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, every girl watched Barbie.
There's this song.
I used to even write the songs now.
Like you.
Oh my goodness, that's my jam. Like my best friend and I met because she sang that song, and I was like, hold on, what's going on? You want me too? So at some point I hope to work for some big corporate giants like Disney and the likes. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you. So over to you, Miss Damilare.
A quick introduction about myself. My name is Oguntoyibo Damilare Praise, a honorable for my department, also a comrade for the Faculty of Multidisciplinary Studies, EKITI State University. So I am a novelist. I write books, and I've been writing since when I was in primary school. I write storybooks back then. I wrote storybooks, and then when I got to secondary school, I started writing novels.
Sorry, please, can you tell us one of your books?
I've written What They Took From Me. That was actually the first novel I worked on because I could connect well with the character I was working on, and it was a very good, I don't know how to put it. It was a very good this thing for me. It was a way for me to get away from the eyes of people and everything. Because secondary school, I don't know if you understand, but secondary school has its own this thing on another level. I don't talk when I was in secondary school. I just love to keep it to myself, and then writing books was a way for me to get away from people and not mingle with them.
Okay. So Miss Mary, can you tell us a bit about yourself, how you're being, affected by stress and how you overcame it?
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, I'm a 200 level student, and also I'm a direct entry student, meaning I joined my colleagues in 200 level. So to be a direct entry student, you have to hold an A-level certificate, which I do. I have a diploma in communication and language arts. Yeah, I finished from the same school and reapplied into the same school. So the year that I finished my diploma, prior to my finishing, they said before me, you could apply with an awaiting result. So the JAM board of directors, so and so, what I heard, they decided to create a change. So during my own turn, you could no longer apply with an awaiting result. And according to what I heard, it was to curb illegal admission and all of that. So that year, I had to wait a whole year, a whole academic calendar to get my result because do you know how stressful that is? Because for diploma students, the whole getting your result process is the same as graduates. It has to get an approval from the Senate and all of that. So I waited a whole year. I remember getting calls from home, friends and family that knew that I was doing a diploma program. And everybody was like, what's going on? Because I was a top student my whole life, primary school, secondary school. Sorry, please don't let me get fired. So I was like this top student. I did so well, and at some point, I felt like I was falling behind. Like I was so ahead of the curve. The curve became a sphere. So I was like, what's going on? At some point, I wanted to tough it out and act like so unbothered. I know what I'm doing, da da da. But it did get to me at some point, and I became stressed. I was mentally stressed, physically stressed, emotionally stressed. Everything, my whole world came crashing down. I was down to level 0. The way I overcame it was I had to look in the mirror and redefine myself. When you define yourself, you give a meaning to something, right? So I gave a meaning to who I was, what I was doing. I know what I'm doing, so why should I let people tell me what I'm doing? If you don't define yourself, other people will define you. And their definition might not be accurate. What if they're not as articulate as you are? So now you're letting somebody pick out words from their own dictionary to define you. So I had to reject every definition from every other person. I am Mary Owadamola Inijian. Nobody will define me for me. And after I looked in the mirror, I spoke positivity into my life. I then listened to songs. I know it sounds corny and all, but I love listening to songs. Like my growing up, my mom always listened to songs, so that's a big part of who I am. I listened to songs that resonated with my situation at the time, and that was it.
Wow. Whew, well, I've heard a lot from Miss Mary. So, Miss Damilare, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you have been affected by stress, and how you overcame it?
Okay, I have to say this. I've been living my life by this mantra. Life is what is happening when you're busy making other plans. I might be busy making plans for my life, like this is how my life should be, this is how I want my life to be. But life will eventually happen the way it is going to happen. So I can remember back in 2020 when I graduated, I had the intention of studying law and everything. I applied to other schools and all that, but while applying, I wrote my books, did some other activities and everything. And my mom kept saying one thing. She said, "You love writing books, so I feel like you should branch into the mass communication and all that." I said, "I don't want mass communication. It's not part of the agenda I have for my life." So I applied to LASU, got rejected. I applied to this thing. I actually got admission to study mass communication in LASU, but I rejected it too.
Wanted law.
I wanted law, right? But life eventually, I heard about mass comming. EKSU State University. I also heard about law. Because of mark was 240, I had 239. I said 1 mark. I was like, but then I applied for mass communication and I got in actually. And life has actually been good, though. EKSU State University is stress itself, so but then I've been able to navigate through it, and I feel like I'm getting a hang of it.
Okay, thank you. So there are like people out there who struggle with depression due to stress. Stress is like a mental tiredness, so it's not far-fetched when stress transition into depression. So Miss Mary, can you tell us, have you ever been in that situation before?
Yes, I have. I've dealt with depression, and I used to even say that at some point in life, maybe when I'm done with the university, I'll get a semicolon tattoo because it's this tattoo that symbolizes choosing to continue when you could have stopped. Because I was depressed, I was dealing with so many things, I was hard on myself, I felt like I should have been doing more. One thing about life, it's one thing for people around you to tell you that, oh, you're falling behind. It's another thing for you to think you're falling behind. So at that point, I just was not in the great space. I was in a dark space. I was in my lonely hours. I couldn't even speak to any person. Like, nobody was going through what I was going through at the time. My situation was kind of peculiar and unique, so there was nobody to mentor me, nobody to tell me what to do. And also I struggle with this sense of iPad independence. I like to think I know what I'm doing and I'll figure it out on my own. It's good at some point, but the bad thing is we are humans. You're not a robot. No man is an island. you need a community to thrive. You need people around you. You need to reach out to friends. You need to reach out to family. And that was the problem I had. I did not reach out to anybody. So I was going through everything by myself and alone. So what dragged me out of that dark space was I had this friend that noticed that, okay, this girl is not as hyper as she used to be. So she reached out. She said, hey Miri, are you doing okay? And I lied. I said, yes, I am. I'm doing okay. I'm fine. And she was like, if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. But when you're okay, just reach out. I'm here. So I went back and I thought to myself, I don't know what's wrong. I mean, if I'm trying to put up the face, there's this whole facade that I've created that, okay, I'm fine. But somebody could still keep through all of that and say, no, you're not okay. I can feel it. You're not your usual self. So I did not reach out to her. I just said to myself, there are people out there that still want you here. There are people that still want you around. You cannot just dig yourself into the dark space and let the darkness consume you. You need to come out of it. And that was how I pulled myself out, and I reached out to family eventually. So anybody that's going through depression, you should seek help from your family, from your friends, or probably professional help.
Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Mary.
You're welcome.
So, Miss Damilare, I don't know, have you ever been in that space where stress led to depression?
No, I have never, but I need to address this. There are different types of stress. We have post-traumatic stress disorder, we have mental stress, we have different kinds of stress. But I've actually dealt with someone who has been depressed before. He lost his dad, and thinking back now, I feel like I could have handled it differently. There's this thing I kept sending to him back then was, out of the night that covers me, black as a bee from pole to pole. I thank whatever God may be for my unconquerable soul. At the end of the day, you are the master of fate. You are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. However, you get out of a dark pit depends on you. It's left to you. But you, as a person that is close to someone who is depressed, I feel like you should be able to listen to the person. Don't say you've experienced something like this before. Don't say you are in that. You are currently not in that person's shoe. You don't know how that person is feeling. You cannot feel someone's feeling. You cannot feel how a person is feeling. You only know about how you felt. You only know about how you dealt with it. They don't know how to deal with it. You're only there to help them, to be a shoulder for them to cry on, and eventually they'll get out of it. So we need to be supportive when we have someone who is depressed.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So I have a question. As students, how do we balance our academics with our social life? Like, how do we maneuver this without feeling overwhelmed? Miss Mary.
Okay, one thing about life, in every sector of life, you need to plan. There's this popular saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Yeah. So in anything that you do, the best way to juggle both lives, to not feel overwhelmed or overstimulated, you need to have a plan out. You should know when it's time for academics, know when it's time for social life. And one thing about me, all the friends I've made in uni here have all been my classmates. So it has not been a difficult thing for me to juggle both, because the people that I meet in school are the same people that I meet outside of school to like have fun and activities. So we all understand what we're going through. There are times that I might not reach out. They get it that I'm not being deliberately distant, or maybe I'm pushing them away. It's like, okay, this semester has been cumbersome. There's so many things to deal with. There's a lot on my plate. Too many assignments to do, so we get it. And when we're done with that phase, we're back again like, okay, let's hang out, let's do this girl stuff, let's do that. So it's so easy for me. But if it were to be some other person, what I would advise you to do is plan, make a plan, have it mapped out, so you know what to do. This is the time, okay, Monday to so day, I want to read. Saturday, I want to hang out with my friends. Sunday, there's church. Maybe in the evening, we go for whatever meeting in church. So that way, you don't get overstimulated.
Thank you very much, Miss Mary. So, Miss Damilare, what's your take on balancing academics with your social life as a student?
At this point, I feel like maybe my mantra is too much, but then again, permit me. There's this mantra of mine too that I got from Mary Flower. It says, you all boys and girls should strive to behave and never be led astray. And when you hit the warning, nothing will differ you from sources wherever you may go in the universe. Which probably means, because I cannot talk for title, which probably means that no matter how busy you are, you have to have a balance in life. Your social life must be balanced, your academics must be balanced. What's it now? Focus. when you're doing something, I focus on it. When you're doing something else, focus on it. You're out with your friends partying, focus on it. You are going out there to release stress. You're not going out there to get more calls from work or more calls from home and say, oh, hello, you need to do this thing, you missed out something, you did this, you did that. No, you're there to party. And when you're working, you are working.
Okay.
You focus, you put your focus on it. And then also, what's this word now? You schedule. You make a schedule. You let me know what you're doing. Okay, on Monday when I wake up, I'm taking tea. I'm going for a jog. I'm going for
like a timetable.
Exactly. You have a schedule. You know how your life is. You plan your life. You don't let anybody to disrupt what you have planned. Learn to say no. When you're busy and a friend calls you, you see you're busy.
Whew. So I've heard it from our two beautiful guests. This is everything in its place. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Everything in its place. So still on stress, we have a few questions from our viewers at home from our page on Facebook. So the first question will be directed to Ms. Damilare. What is a common physical symptom of stress?
Headaches and migraines.
Okay.
The moment you start getting headache from doing something, you're already stressed out about that thing. Don't keep going at it. Just take a break, relax, and then maybe you can then resume later. But if you still feel like that thing is stressing you out, seek professional help.
Thank you very much. So Miss Mary, what is the potential cause of stress, Miss Mary?
Well, there are different types of potential causes of stress, and it has to do with the type of stress the person is dealing with. It could be mental stress, it could be physical stress, emotional stress. So each one of these stress have different causes, and some could be dealing with so much emotion, some could be financial difficulty, it could be having to handle too much workload, too much burden. So that's just it.
Thank you. So Ms. Damilare, which coping strategy involves avoiding or ignoring stressful situations?
I feel like the answer is already in the question. Avoid that kind of situation. Avoid situation that makes you feel stressed. Avoid people that makes you feel stressed, because people also contribute to stress. Like they just come up with their own problem, and then they bring it up to you as if you're the. I'm not saying you should not listen, you should listen, but still they can be stressful sometimes, so you should avoid.
Okay, thank you. Miss Mary, what is an effective way to manage stress?
An effective way to manage stress is, first of all, once you identify the stress you're dealing with, then this perfect solution is to find a solution that is perfectly tailored to the type of stress you're dealing with. If it's mental stress, how about you stop thinking too much about certain things that are beyond your control? Because if it's beyond your control, worrying about it is not going to fix it. It's only going to add to it. So maybe you should just tell yourself, this thing is beyond my control, let me let it go. If it's physical stress, release yourself of the burden that you carried on your shoulders. If it's something at work, if you're taking too much responsibility at work, maybe you should explain to people, your bosses at work, this thing at this time is too much for me to deal with, it's too much for me to handle. And if it's something emotional, first of all, find the root of that emotional stress. If it's the people around you, like she mentioned, people could add to stress. Even if it's your close friends and your family, if you don't want to have to totally cut them off, if they are not toxic to that level, you could give them space for the time being. Then once you give them space, once you've dealt with the situation, then you could come back and have an open discussion with them, because communication is key. Let them know what they've done that was wrong and how they could change. And if you see changes in them, continue being friends with them. And if you see they are not willing to change, let them go, unfortunately.
Thank you, Miss Mary. And our last question to Miss Damilare. What are some physical exercises that relieve stress?
Physical exercises that release stress include walking, taking a walk, dancing. Also, sometimes you just need to put your two hands together and massage your head. This point actually helps to release stress if you massage it very well. You can do it by yourself. You don't need to go to a masseuse before you can do that. So I feel like, amongst other things though, those are the things you can do to release stress.
Okay. So Miss Mary, what is the term for stress resulting from excessive work demands and pressure?
That's a burnout. And like the name implies, you burn out. We all have spark in us, we all have that fire that is burning in us. So once you have so much on your plate at times, you just burn out.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So to our viewers at home, you have heard it from our two beautiful guests. Hope you are satisfied with their responses. So Miss Mary, do you have a take home for our guests?
Before I even say what I'm saying, say thank you for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure being here. My key take home for the viewers at home is that there's this saying by my favorite actor, Timothy Chalamet. He says, "Life is coming from you and not at you." And that's one thing I want everybody that's listening to remember, that you create the life that you want. Everything that's happening to you, even though it might be tough, it might be hard, it might be difficult, it's part of the experiences that make you you. So rather than looking at it as life is throwing too much at you, life is being unfair to you, life is miserable, why not look at it as some beautiful experience, that these are stories that at some point you get to tell.
Yeah.
So that's you making life. Life is coming from me and not at me.
Thank you very much. So Miss Damilare, a little for our guests to take home.
I need everyone to know that not everything that happens to you is spiritual problem. Your village people are not after you. You need to relax sometimes. Take the breath, relax. If you feel like you're stressed about something that you keep doing and it keeps failing, why not just take a few steps back and look at what you've gone wrong in what you're doing. Don't look at somebody else's time to measure yours. No, you walk at your own pace. You run at your own pace. You don't walk with other people's pace. Let's keep that in mind. And also, seek professional help when you feel like it has gone far beyond something you can control. Don't only speak spiritual help. You can go to your pastor and talk to your pastor, but we should also learn to seek professional help, especially the Nigerian shop.
Thank you very much. Before we go, I want to summarize the key takeaways from today's show. Remember that stress is a signal that something needs to change. So once you identify the stress, remember to seek professional help when it's needed. Special thanks to my lovely guests, Mary and Damilare. Thank you for being on our show. And to my viewers at home, thank you for staying with us. I remain your lovely host, Chiokasi Divine Nimido. We see you next time on Everything in its Place. Bye-bye.
Bye.
sorry, wait. I think we can put the mic here. Or we should take it out.
Miss Mary. So, Miss Damilare, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you have been affected by stress, and how you deal with it?
Okay, I have to say this. I've been living my life by this mantra. Life is what is happening when you're busy making your plans. I might be busy.
I'm cameraman.
Don't forget our sound manager.
Thank you. Who's our sound manager? Our sound manager, ma. Where is stage manager? She's not even around. Our researcher, assistant director. Our beautiful teammate. Camera 2, who's camera 2? Our camera 2.
This is what you're doing now. Like now.
Our guest.
Like now. You're just doing it now. When we're doing all of those stuff. No, when we're doing
We did, Jerry. Our able guest. I just did the code. I love this.
So, action.
Welcome to everything in its place.
Wait. Let her bite my pass. You are doing haha. Okay. Let's continue. Should the sound is on, Abby? Okay, 1, 2, 3, action.
Welcome to everything in its place.
Alright, action.
Welcome back to everything in its place. But before we go, I want to summarize the key takeaways from today's show. Remember, the stress is. Remember, the stress is a signal that.
Please speak again.
Remember, the stress is a signal that something needs to change. So if you identify the cause of your stress, remember to seek professional.
Pick up.
Okay. So once you identify the stress, remember to seek professional help when it's needed. Special thanks to my lovely guests, Mary and Damilare. Thank you for being on our show. And to my viewers at home, thank you for staying with us. I remain your lovely guest, Tioka Divine Mimido.
Sorry, take that again.
Host.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Let's go.
I remain your lovely host, Tioka Divine Mimido. This is everything on its place.
See you in the next episode.
What am I saying?
See you in the next episode.
From that, see you in the next again.
No, you know what? Let me get the last paragraph. Let me get the last paragraph again.
Please, if it's not to fall down, sister, should we can catch. She's not gonna fall down the edge. Look at road.
What's a drop?
Feel like this man. Okay, this. Oh yeah, mama mix. Okay. 1, 2, 3, action.
Miss Mary,
Don't worry. Move on. Miss Mary.
what is a potential cause of stress?
Well, there's so many types of stress to begin with. So it depends on the type of stress. It could be mental stress, it could be emotional stress, physical stress. Well, for mental stress, it could be financial difficulty. It could be a tumultuous.
Freeze.
Financial security.
Like that.
Let me tell myself.
Shut calling.
Yeah, so
Please stop sound away. Alright, so second camera is connected again. Second camera is connected again. So we start from Abi?
Yes.
So silent background noise. Wait, that's what happened.
We're not done.
After viewers,
Are we not?
we are going to break. Alright, so let's go. Silent background noise. 1, 2, 3. Alright, 1, 2, 3, action.
So I've heard it from our two beautiful guests. This is everything in its place. Stay with us. We'll be right back.